With regard to the drug screen today, he advises me that he will not pass the drug screen. Said he was going to be positive for marijuana and meth.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Now you come in here telling me I can't go to jail, Judge, because, I'm going to lose my job and I value my job. I mean, how bad of a problem do you have when you know you're being watched? You're coming in to get sentenced for violating your probation, for using meth, and you come in here dirty for meth. That's not my problem. That's your problem.
All right, folks, today's case is the definition of self-destruction in real time. We've got a man standing before the court who is already on probation, already under the microscope, and what does he do? He shows up to court knowing he's about to fail his drug test and admits he'll pop positive for both marijuana and methamphetamine. You can't make this stuff up. Now here's where it gets unbelievable. This man actually pleads with the judge not to send him to jail because he values his job and doesn't want to lose it. Think about that for a second. You value your job, but you don't value it enough to stay clean when you know the court is watching you. You're already on probation, you're already in trouble, and instead of tightening up, you double down on meth. That's...
In regard to the matter then, did you have a chance to go over the resentencing recommendations with Mr. Capel?
I did, Your Honor. There's nothing of a factual nature that we need to address in there. I did talk to Mr. Capel about his payments. He's indicated that he was planning on paying with his taxes. I think he has some financial difficulties due to being in and out of work. So I think he's trying to catch up on some back bills and putting the court on the back burner, so to speak. Advised him that's not a good idea. Even paying $5 a week would make an impression on the court. So I think he'll try and do better going forward. With regard to the drug screen today, he advises me that he will not pass the drug screen. And
in what respects are we not going to pass?
Said he was going to be positive for marijuana and meth.
Well, I think that's a real good reason, Mr. Capel, to start looking at why you can't make any probation cost payments. You're spending it all on meth. Anyway, go ahead, Ms. Schaub. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your Honor, he was honest with me that he would not pass. I discussed with him where he got it, and he apparently said it was a gift. But obviously, given his circumstances, that was not a wise choice. But he does have a full-time job. If he goes to jail for 15 days, I don't know if that job will be available when he gets out of jail. So I don't know what the court wants to do with Mr. Capel. I don't know how. I had notes prior to his pleading to this that he had been testing clean and doing what he was supposed to do, but apparently he's gotten a little bit off track. I'm hoping the court will give him one more break and not put him in jail today.
Thank you. Mr. Capel, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I work at hometown right now. We're reduced to winter hours.
What?
We're reduced hours right now because it's the slow season. So I'm only getting like 32-ish a week. So it's like $500 a paycheck, roughly, give or take, after taxes. But I should have enough today for, if not half, majority of the court costs that I owe because of 4 seasons. I clocked enough hours, I think. I'm just waiting on the W-2 SE. I worked there for 2 days.
Not just poor judgment, that's reckless. And the judge, she doesn't sugarcoat a single word. She lays it out plain as day. That's not my problem, that's your problem. And she's right. Probation isn't a free pass, it's a second chance. It's the system saying, we'll give you the rope, but don't hang yourself with it. And this guy, he's wrapping it around his neck. What really strikes me is how casually he tries to spin this. He tells his attorney that the meth was a gift, a birthday present. Who in the world thinks meth is a gift? That's not a gift, that's a grenade. And instead of owning up and showing real remorse, he's in court talking about paying off court costs with his taxes, as if balancing the books makes the meth vanish. But here's where the judge really drives it home. She brings up his past. And this isn't just some harmless guy who made a bad choice once. We're talking felonies: assault with a dangerous weapon, reckless use of a firearm, pulling a revolver during an argument. Charges that easily could have landed him in prison. The only reason he isn't already there is because he got a deal, pled down to misdemeanors, and was put on probation back in January of 2023. A huge break. And here he is throwing it away with meth in his system.
Well, Mr. Capel, anything else you'd like to add?
May should go back to regular hours, so I'll have a lot better time
How long have you been there?
since July.
And what are you working now then?
What's a rotating schedule? So it's 8 to 4 with Wednesday off, and then the Saturday off for my work camp, and then it's 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 with Wednesday off, and then I work that Saturday 8 to 1. That's if I don't get sent home early, because we have a high school kid that comes in about 3:30. Usually let him get a couple hours for the end of the day there.
Well, I have some serious concerns here. This was an underlying felony, Mr. Capel. You had 2 charges of assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault, felony firearm, reckless use of a firearm, and it was a very troubling underlying situation. In a dating relationship, argument the day before, pushed her on several occasions. Victim and another victim were present in the apartment. You became upset, retrieved a revolver from your bedroom, brandished the revolver, and demanded everyone leave the apartment. That was pled down by the prosecutor's office. You ended up pleading on a domestic violence, an assault and battery, and a reckless use of a firearm, all in misdemeanor court. That you were placed on probation for in January of 2023. Your bond condition, sir, where you were not supposed to be using marijuana or other types of controlled substances that weren't prescribed to you way back in November of 2022. That was put into place. That continued when you were sentenced in January of 2023. In regard to the matter, then, we've had several blips with your probation, and then most recently, what you're being sentenced for today was on September 20th, you had a positive for methamphetamine. Here we are in January of 2024, and your lawyer's telling me you're still going to be positive. I lowered your payment to $100 a month starting back then in October, and you still haven't made any payments because from what it seems like to me, the money's going out the door. Maybe you've got less hours, but you have not. How do you justify purchasing methamphetamine? You can't. And maybe it was a gift, maybe it wasn't, but now we got September and January on top of everything else going on here. It sounds to me from the behavior that was demonstrated at the underlying charge, you had probably some meth going on that day and an inability to control your anger due to the ingestion of meth. It does not do good things to people. You're lucky you didn't kill somebody that.
So now, the judge is looking at the whole picture, not just the failed test, not just the unpaid fees, but the violence in his past and the pattern he's showing. And the question hanging in the air is crystal clear. How many chances does someone like this really deserve? And that's exactly where the tension explodes. When the judge finally drops the hammer, you can feel the air get heavy. She isn't interested in excuses, birthday gifts, or promises to do better next time. She's looking at a man who had every chance to clean up and instead chose to spit on the court's mercy. And when she says he's going to jail,
Now you come in here telling me, I can't go to jail, judge, because, I'm going to lose my job and I value my job. If you valued your job, you wouldn't have been doing meth. You're being watched. I mean, how bad of a problem do you have when you know you're being watched? You're coming in to get sentenced for violating your probation for using meth, and you come in here dirty for meth. That's not my problem. That's your problem. That's a big problem. That's what you're telling me. Red flags going up all over. Problem, problem, problem. Can't even control my behavior enough when I know I'm going to go to court and get sentenced. So I am sorry, Mr. Capel. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies, aren't we? I don't know what to tell you here, but this is absolutely ridiculous.
Give me 3 weeks, I can guarantee.
She's not worried about the payment. She's worried about you doing
I
the
can
job.
guarantee you clean UA, and then I'll guarantee everyone after that to be clean.
Yeah, well, you should have been doing that all along, Mr. Capel. So this is where you're at today. I'm going to continue your probation. If you can't establish clean testing, get used to the bunk rack over there, because that's where you'll be back. Your outstanding balance is $795. I will allow that continued payment to commence 30 days after his release from jail. Recommence.
That was $17.95, Your Honor.
What did I say?
7.
$17.95. I'm not going to assess another attorney fee. We'll take that off of there.
Can I get a report date?
I'm going to order 15 days in jail, 0 days credit. I will hold 10 days in abeyance if you successfully pass a drug screen today at booking. If you don't, you will serve the 15 days commencing immediately. You are still required to attend the divert counseling program. You can continue attending that. So, Mr. Capel, if you can't pass the screen today, you're going to be sitting your 15 days.
I can't get a check-in date, so.
No, it's right now.
When you
Right now.
get out of jail, you check in with your probation officer as soon as possible.
Right now, Mr. Capel, you made this bed yourself. Think about it. You got 15 nights to
Feel
think
free
about it.
sign, and then he'll take you down to probation.
Yes, he's going to jail either for 5 days or 15, depending on him. So if you test clean, you'll be out in time to go to work on Monday. That key is in your hands. I can't do anything about it. In regard to the matter, that's that. Did you understand your appeal rights then, Mr. Capel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
It's not just about the meth. It's about accountability. It's about making it clear that probation is not a joke, it's not a suggestion, and it's not a playground where you test how far you can push before someone notices. This man already has a violent history, already dodged prison once, and instead of using that break to turn his life around, he used it to get high. But here's the part that really sticks. As she sentences him, he tries one last time to beg for leniency. He's worried about his job, about paying his fines, about how this will affect him. And that's the tragedy of it. He's so focused on himself that he can't see the bigger picture. He's a danger to the community, he's proven he can't be trusted, and now he's finally facing the consequences he's been running from. The judge makes it clear. Enough is enough. She isn't punishing him because of one mistake, she's punishing him because of the pattern, because of the violence, because of the refusal to take responsibility. And in that courtroom, you can see it in his face. The realization hits. The ride is over. No more probation, no more free passes. Just a cell and time to think about every bad choice that led him here. And that's the harsh reality. You can't sweet-talk your way out of a failed drug test. You can't hide behind excuses when your record is stacked with weapons charges. Eventually, the truth catches up, and when it does, the gavel comes down hard.